everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of What's That Meme? Show where we look at memes and pull some spiritual truths from them. And here we go. Here's today's meme.
So we both laughed at this meme when we saw it today.
Meme's hilarious.
Probably because we have no idea how many eggs we hid this morning for our children.
Whatsoever.
We did not count. We did not even take a guess.
It wasn't smart.
We hid with reckless abandon. And
the only thing we know is that there's more than 100.
Right. We do know there's more than 100. And so I am...
And every single egg has candy in it.
Most have multiple pieces of chocolate in it. And so I am 99% certain, maybe even more than that there are eggs that are still hidden in our house right now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I saw one on my way in.
Okay.
I left it there, though, because the kids will find it someday.
And we are assured of finding those eggs probably within a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
If
Luckily, they're not real eggs, so we're not going to, smell them, so there's that. But
there will be ants
quite
making
possibly
trails to them. Okay, so, I mean, clearly we laughed because it was kind of a real-life truth in our life, but what was the deeper spiritual truth that you saw?
It kind of, something else happened this week that kind of drove it home for me. My aunt posted some video from the early 90s from an Easter egg hunt that she had recorded of my cousins hunting eggs. And in it, like you can hear in the video saying, "Oh, we learned from last year and we counted our eggs this year." And I was like, well, no, we didn't do that. We probably should have, but we didn't. But the thing that stood out to me is that even though we probably have eggs, probably like 100% sure we have eggs still hidden somewhere in our house, and we may not know where they are. Our kids definitely don't know where they are. It doesn't change the fact that their presence is still there.
Correct.
Just because we don't know where they're at doesn't mean they're not there.
Right.
It reminds me of Jesus and his presence in our lives, because whether we recognize it or not, he's there. He's always there. Scripture promises us that he's there. And his presence doesn't depend on our ability to recognize it. Just like that egg doesn't depend on us finding it for it to actually be there. It's there. The ants someday will tell us that it's there. And Jesus is there. His presence is there, whether we recognize it or not.
The first thing that stood out to me from this meme, I kind of went a little bit of a different direction. Well, actually, the first thing that stood out to me is that I was really happy we didn't use just real eggs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Although baby chick would be kind of cool.
No. But the second thing that stood out to me, it reminds me of a story from Luke chapter 8. And it's one of my favorite parts of Luke. And there's a woman who has been bleeding for 12 years, and she wants to be healed. And she just gets close enough to Jesus, and she touches his cloak. And she's healed, and he notices, and he turns around and he asks, "Who was it that touched my cloak?" And one of my favorite lines in there is when she realized she couldn't be hidden, she made herself known. And I love that idea that we are not hidden. Like, we cannot be hidden with God. And so while these Easter eggs might be hidden to us, and while we might feel hidden to God at times, we aren't. We never are hidden to him, just like the woman in Luke chapter 8. We can't be hidden from him.
Yeah. It's interesting that we this meme same coin, but two different sides. How one reminded you of us, and I kind of saw it as Jesus in our lives. Kind of cool.
Very cool.
Hey, 2 points that we want to make sure that you caught. I think they're pretty obvious, but just in case. Number 1, God's presence in our lives does not depend on our ability to recognize it. He's there no matter what.
And point number 2, Even though we might sometimes feel like a lost, forgotten, hidden Easter egg that's been kicked under the couch, Luke chapter 8 reminds us that we are not hidden from God.
And our reflection question for you today is, do you feel like God is hidden from you or like you are hidden from God?
That's episode 3.